Impromptu Poetry, LSAD, January 12th, 2022. Off the cuff poetry, whatever comes to my senses as I hear seagulls cry along the saga of stolen souls, now buried into the crimson paint of young artists in a school of terrible beauties where once was born the saga of sorrow, now sweet, remembering the dreams of tomorrow. As I rub my hand along the dew, feeling the pulse of the angels crying their birth onto my hand, and looking up a tiny remembrance of a bird, sweetly singing from branch to branch, dulcet in its tone, remembering but now forgetting, and leaving go of the ivy with its arms outstretched, crying to the pores of the haloed side, with the bark remembering my hand, and my hand remembering all notches and rivets. To the earth it goes, to the earth it was, to the earth it begins, picking up a leaf and seeing the veins that run through the aorta of all of us, and seeing Christ in everything I know and everything I see and everything I crush, in everything I set free, and seeing the seagull swing its swoop behind all dreams that lay in the silence of the side. As I walk the march of madness into an empty grave, who once was Our Lady's path, she set a path of peace, instead is troubled tide. As I walk on the moss, crunching all the insects of earwigs and beetles of birth, and as I see the light that shines now in what was once a nun's tale of long lost longitudes of hope gone, as I hear the pigeons cry a new song, a rebirth, a renaissance, and the crow which was enveloped around the blooded robe of Christ now sweetly say, I'm sorry, give me pardon. As the ivy creeps up its arching path into an orphan of a sky, as I hear a dog bark its familiar tone for its owner to come home, and an empty chair lies await for us to sit in the sweetness of the sun. Cut. As I walk through the mason's hand, which quarried out the earth through its pitted soul, in the pathway of once was what was left of an orphan's grave. Sweet childish images, provoking thoughts of sweetness. As I walk in the sunlight, glimpsing and gathering and gleaming, not hoarding, not finding, not losing, and reminiscing on the present moment of seagulls selfishly gorging on last week's appetite from the canteen of young artists who dance on the heathers and the feeble hands of their ancestors. Amen. berries, 3 berries, 4 berries more. The rawness of the redness of the robin screamed out for more. Cut. The chaos theory wrapped its wretched hands around the gut of my guilt and parched it onto the papers to knit new fibres of oyster shell through the little castanets of felted wools seeping through the tomorrows of my thoughts, and feeling the old man's oar in my hand of Aaron as it reaped fish from the bounty of an old school's net. Cut. With the thoughts of the ebb and flow of the tide mimicking the passengers in cars, and a man approaches in a blazing orange jacket cycling through the dreams of cursed thoughts. As the Shannon waves and weaves and meanders and whines and whispers, it swings into emancipation from the land we were born to the land we will die, and the blood that flows through us in the orphaned sky. Sugar bowl melted into the sculptor's hand. He pierced the dreams of sweetness and salve. A truck carrying cargo of cattle, mysterious and murky and mudded, filtering the thoughts of an overloaded truck bearer. A sweet song parched my gasping throat of a solitary bird. The lamppost cried its sins of prostitution. The sex workers were becoming obsolete in the silent steps along the roadways, and the men became the hookers of the night with their canes, all bleached in thoughts of fast cars and slowing footsteps to purchase, to buy, to perchance dream. And all because they became buried and locked in the minds of their pines. There's a wretched warbling of Georgian watery graves of the Shannon, leechings into the membranes and the minds of salty soldiers that once pivoted cartwheels out through young students of a young gymnast club, now in the Limerick landscapes of the whitewashed walls, with the tenement houses now primed as property of what was once an orphan. As the sun bleached its parchment across the artistic aortas of now new denominations that are called now Irish, new song, new rhythm, new beat, new pulse, fleeing from them. A cry of a seagull mourns and then rejoices in finding and searching and believing. Amen. The nostrils of truth lay flared in the ironmonger's hand, as with embers of steel corrugated out through the concrete. The arthritic earth believed and felt the coldness of the spirit of the Celts, which emancipated through the pinnacles, reaching the tentacles of the thorns, creating a watch over the sojourn of our city. Amen. The hollowness of the land became perpendicular in my mind as the ceiling stretched forth its ugliness of sin, now a beauty in the mind of a wedding at Christmas, as the maidens of truth carry their lanterns of hope past the deadened flowers of winter, under the eaves and the arches of rainbows. Amen. Stop. Piggy wiggle. Softness of your voice that day outstretched along that path where I picked up a pumice stone and ran it coarsely across your ached feet, which gave ear to many a poisoned prisoner in the mind. You couldn't see the sun. You were annihilated that day with voices that were vice scripts across the cowslips and hurt and harm. I cast it into the ocean and it went adrift and caught through the sounds of cars and birds and fleeting passengers and two people sitting on the shore looking out and thinking, what a lovely day. The fabric of all extremes became when you kicked the ball repeatedly through the single pane of glass which shattered all the tensions, when we all came running out and said, shit, we're in for it. But Dad always repaired the glass, and Dad always repaired all the fractures in our minds. Two people caught in the love of a woolly hat between the meanders of all children finding hope. And the candlelight became the flame of all solidarity as young virgins became the emblems of a new dawn.
Okay, it's recording now.
Okay, will I start?
Do.
Okay, I'll give a brief intro. Hello, my name is Michelle Hartnett, Brian Hartnett's wife. This is a collaboration, a pick and mix from a bag of salvaged beer mats, paper napkins, or old diaries where I scribbled anything down. 97% roughly of my life's work ended up in the bin, recycle bin, because I physically did not have room to store it. So I threw out roughly, unfortunately, 45 to 47 refuse sacks of work in my life. I have never sat down as such to read any of what I had written. It was just I'd vomit words out on the page. So what's left is what's left, and what I can proceed with after that is only what I can proceed with after that. So I'm just going to pick up any book, diary or page or anything I could get my hands on at the time, and just pick from a pick and mix. So it's going to be a bit Bertie Bassett pick and mix, and it's going to be random. So I don't know what I'm going to read because, as I say, I never read over my work. It's a pity I didn't take ownership of my work and more pride in it. But anyway, it is what it is. So I'm just looking down here at the first one, and it's called the Copper Jug, which is a pub in Ennis, and it's the 9th of, it just says 9th Thursday 2004. So what reference to what month it was, I don't know. So here goes, the Copper Jug, underlined, that's donating the pub. So I just scrolled down, possibly under an illusion of alcohol. Horse hauling, hurting hooves of consciousness of split pint personalities as he paves a stout drenched warble of walk with a stabilised stagger and belching bowls of bowels, seething a self of others, aged fury, stomachs constant in being engaged in ignition, mucus of stung mustard, no Roman rushes here, stinking drink and mouths all open, head on keeling rotation from spirit level to threshold of door, mannerisms of the maddened mad, wet sandbagged, sorrowed ghosts of Gomorrah, tato-tiled tattle of talk, beguiling, bald brawl, with liver spot and fluke of hand. Okay. So the next page after that, I'm just flicking through, and in between I've designs written down, funnily enough, when I studied fashion knitwear many years later. Little did I know I was actually scribbling, until I look back now, drawings of different little things I'd like to design. So this one is September the 11th 2004, and it's Colum's 30th birthday, funnily enough. So I dedicated this to my lovely brother Colin Prendeville, and this I wrote in the 11th September 2004, Colum's 30th birthday. My evergreen oak kernel, gleaming consciousness of brother, befitting a beloved bow crest of honorary man, Ardnaquisha part arc digger of divan duck down, of lullaby, hero of silent siblings, echoes of first dawns, looming horizons of healing hands, have you, Colum, candled calming with rush of rhododendron raleigh, you, talon seams of sincerity, king's advocate of love wisely chosen, fishermen's and families' friends, care etched eternally into the pulse of our hearts. And then I wrote down at the end, thank you for all you have done for me, Colum, the kind words spoken and the times we shared. Love, Michelle. So, yeah. Okay. I'm just quickly scanning. September the 10th, 2004. And I have a title called Basketballers in Ballet for Babies' Abilities. The slumber had finally anointed a mission in the hearts of pity in Limerick City. The state of Gomorrah, canary yellow lemon offspring. It haunts a yellow door of hand-trusting tums, loose wear of worldly welcomes, life leap of lavender loops, sense of incense round glazed magnolias, a glows and perfecting, a purity and abundance of absolute, nature spawn of utter urchins, the inclinations of ivory pork chop pensioner, as burnt blonded Bridget, maggot-mouthed her broccoli and cauliflower Blake, moaning about Mona, criticising her bones of arthritic pains. A sober Sal, her outdated bearded pal, looks luringly at legs of loose tongued lassies, toffied incense tobacco, talk with cocoa bean coffees, sending secrets of Gomorrah's coast around bamboo beans of seduced saps, embroiling butts of nerve endings in my spiritual spines. So I'm just freaking through as here, and then I have another dress just scribbled out, and I said her flat keys are thrown on toast and tea and toast table underneath my jar of jazz jowls of juniper Junes in a female frenzy. His walk was one of militant madness, pinning a pining prick of being prickly. Right, I'm just, I've never actually read this stuff. I'm just skimming through. Trellises of tomorrow's towers of my promises to myself. I feel, and I have felt, I will feel, I am humane. Rafters are rotting, an immigrant victim. And then I, curse of Catholic cut of throat cough. I'd rather be mad than conventional. I'd rather be myself than to be contemporary. I just look, it is what it is. There's another one here. September 21st, Tuesday, whatever month it was, I'll never know, 2004, in the Market Pub in Ennis. So this was scribbled in the Market Pub. A fire funneling his forced chuckles, the choke of his lost child, and children's throat and tears, an opening of octave of jaw jargon, a jumbling in jolst, drinking a whinge of wine spoon, handling a ladle of hand, of being hung in the past handsome face of once upon a time. Mangan, the judge, mangled her frown to flea-lined lashes for long drawn. Oh, so the long drawn culture calling careful ones, I won't mention the word. It begins with C. Town traipsers, every foul vowel, an echo of an inappropriate word, and it's said again. A slow haul of hand to a bled boar's skull, usually late of 11s, I think. Fond in finding foods and fool's Guinness grasp of gutted witting, irk of intestine, gore I left it as a gone away, glass of red rim brandy, bleeding eye of eyes, obtruse to all senses, shovel a shod of shriek as shout, rancid stalks of curly kale. I'm just flicking through. I just here it says October the 2nd, Saturday, 2004. If you stare scars through me, you do not feel comfortable with my differences to you. You feel justified to jar me into one of your broken jaw bit of tooth. Your morning after a fur fury tongue beats my beliefs into blisters. You crave my raven monogamy and wisdom. Until you halt hurting, you will usually instead be still craving. Your brains are bellows in abandoned belfries, as you have a Vera Moda of a vile Vermont mouth. October the 2nd, Friday 2004. Clarissa, the Cold War candle. I don't know where this came from. Her blood of Christ, calm, erect body in a green gone Bordeaux bottle. Her wick untrimmed, her head in flame, untamed. Children chose chips to her thoughts. Yankee tours taking a Blarney blue nightlight instead. She was a sole mediator of mangled hearts. The roof gave its wrath, dangerous in her vulnerability, careful with her karma, initiate of first light of civilized civilians. Her walls of her heart as cold now when lit as her uncle's dead cheek, healer of heathens. Long absorbing others' pains, soft in the nature of black ebony skin of a back room, Tennessee teas, to emerge of virginal matrimony, suicide with salted seas, sway and swirl of baby's breath, of longing yin-yang, church in communion of kiss, homeless rapturer, psyche of anointing, lost donor of divinity. This obviously was a reflection of my conscious state at the time. and my psychological and my immediate environment to what I interpreted. October the 2nd, Saturday 2004. What month this is, I don't know. But this, this is a depiction of where I was at the time mentally, spiritually and physically. If I would be a whore, I would be a hole. If I would be rich, I would be a bore. If I were to be facetious, I would be phlegm. And since I am a writer, I live in love's vein. October 2nd, Saturday 2004, so I actually got the date right. Oh, how my heart bleeds, bounds of fresh bounty. Oh, how my staggers is now stable. Oh, how I plead God to keep you safe. Oh, how I believe in every loving hairline, fracture, flaw of you. This is actually you. This is about Brian. Oh, Brian, oh, Brian. Oh, my thistle torn king. Oh, my salvator, saving my soul from self-abuse and autism. Oh, Brian, my loving, lovely boy. Oh, how my senses incite incense of wild tea rose for you, and only for you, incarnate of Maria Michael Hartnett. I honour and love ever to death thy son Brian. I have found, I have searched, and I will search no more. The end. And then
Thanks, love.
No, funny enough, I didn't expect that to come out. The thing Mam says all come to do, and this is about my mother. The things Mam says, all things come to those who wait. Well, look, that's plagiarism, but she always said that. And then that's just a caption I wrote down. Slender a silver coin to 30 pieces to kill the Messiah to find freedom. The kingship of a clean refuge, shiny hangover and lack of lilting in life is a parody of being drunk. My childhood. 5.5 children in a mossy green rust surrounds of high-ace fan, hung over and hung for a fiver parents, while our grandmother tilts turf to produce primroses. Frustrated mother, shitty nappies, loose tongue swaddler, Johnny Prendeville, demonics, the two Jims, sober supervisor Cosworth, that's Cullum, one of ranting idioms, Michelle from hell, Squawk, a simple sibling called the bum, that's Claire. Friday, that was written on Friday the 15th of October 2004. Bad Jesus might Mick, you're on the way out by the stadia. Reply, how can I pa when you're standing underneath the exit of the pathway? I remember those days as crisp as my first pack of potatoes. Treat your mind like a bad neighbourhood. Don't go there alone. That's something I had written from an addiction quote. Now I can wake up and say good morning God instead of God it's morning. Easy does it. Brunette beauty versus scorched scalp of blondies. Look, whatever. Disco frisp of freak. No, not fair. You F-U-C-K. You ain't no home. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Roll tight, provocative whip. Beyond the law, representing law. Once again, capable of love. Nothing less. Fruition from a broken fragment. Forlorn fragrance. Forgotten. Tiger death spirit. Glass eyes. Fatigue wanting. Pressure into expiration. Stuck as skin. Labelling self-adhesive pains. Tiring race. Buying youth. Not replacing it. Feeling lucky and not being stupefied and stoned. bouncing bruises, single slate, source for keeping, passing a cusp of birthdays by giving birth, lost lagoons, revered by sore eyes, chaos cruised, took nick and tape of knackers by my knickers, shreen a siren, a bounce back, covered egg box teenage studio, may I think, ? Broken glass and broken alcoholic minds, a malignant mould, taps a turning to tinsel a tremble, recognizing arena, globe a brimming, suns above, rains below, exit looming, keep your falsehood of mackerel meat. Thorough sounds of viced verbals, Roman Ronnie, rinse in the rays, rinse out computer captives, Nixon knickers on today's washing line, crisscross stitching, falling freely, head and wool, in transition, today I witness vibes of valleys and Valium, one sting of being stung, brothers and belittlers, eels of yesing yesterdays, phlegm protagonist, passport please, daddy says do it like that, a sequence of silence being sanguine swans, in for a veranda crush a crabbed china attitudes, descending to decadence, sleepy born and talking and walking, sheeply shunted, garmless growth, familiar voices and singing you have sung in singular silence, tapestry of tempest and temperate temples, high velocity, low altitude, synchronicity and chrome feelings. And then this is what you actually said to me on Saturday, 2004. Brian says Shelley is a box room, clustered and flustered in an age-old flat. That's what you said. And you actually have that written here. Look, that's your writing. And this is Saturday 2nd, 2004. A Jew accordingly, full hierarchy in changing choices, chameleons, millions of men marching to mince men, barong baroness imbued Jew, alternative tie, glass blouses, Cuban criteria over and under the weighing scales, fighting fun chemistries, a toilet's physician, lala heads, sands ascending siblings, strength into visionary runners, haunts of hawks a harking, a plaster of balls of walls, bleached a blondie bitch, wells and wrists of written writers, towel traumas, swans, B.O. beer, trash can antiquity, heat of bullying bulls, funky monkey, family infesting for fest. A woman of worry. That's all I wrote there for that. October the 2nd, Saturday. Trapezoidal trapeze artist. I know what. October 2nd, Saturday 13th. What year? Possibly 2004. Excited cloisters promoting medieval mystics. Surge of surgeons in surgery, all ensuring surety. Ditches all a laughing. Colourful crown of archaeologist. Spirit of aptitude. Holy my loss of my holy state less. Trenches skewered through anomalies. Sacrosanct service of sacrament, significant grave timber markings marking life. And then I have nuns equals in inverted brackets, labourers of souls, coy cobblers in a priest cob courtyard, a retired wombat, scoop escape, the mop known as media. yeah, it's just a few of my markings of my mind at the time. I haven't ever read this till now. This is October Sunday. Some Sunday in 2004. Some Sunday. Apple tree bearer of blue woods. I am sick in love with my love. My stag go wild. This is obviously when I had met you. My stag go wild, conquering Kilkenny 10 pitcher. For now I see your face, a dove hiding in the coverts of our cliffs. Now I see your manliness in the husk of moss and Connemara ridges. Your mind is a temple with 7 guarding warrior champions, of which is your floor of flame of boy to man. Awake my garden, breaths of north wind to fresh and most frequent, my love lands for you, Brian, spreading sweetened smells of soil, surrendering, as my locks are palm fronds of cotton cloud threads, of celestial silvers in your eyes, are on a foundation perched into the joy of your jaw. That was for you.
Lovely, hon.
Let me just see if it's on the other page. Thursday, 20th of May, 2004. The day a certain individual was born. As candles placed by an angel's advocate were lit in a womb of warm woman, so wise as you, initiation of life of love began. In God's garden I blew 2 poppy seeds for wild iris boy, for a name known to you, as his hands are all wildly born at the promise of parting. Tea rose stems growing ballistically on his great grandmother's beloved ash, as he hurdles a grain of tree or hurler of the crossroads. His mind as a want as it is, necessity inquiring us into the belief that this chosen child is a messenger of mirth and unending hope, a coronation of borean mass. As the child walks out, and Searle walks wisely behind him, as wizened as Phil McCool, a goal bearer of ambition with pulse, spirit and driving force of liberating life in watching a wooden cup of God's love, guiding hearts of compassionate honesty. In summer, as he is born, his thoughts turn to swallows, playing in the eaves of his kind kingdom, our little prince of the rowan tree. As you welcome your bounty enlightenment, welcome into our world to a ship our birth. Our beloved becomes you, of endless muse of friends and fruits, may with summer soak of wild, of Arnakusha pack cascades, of woven woolen weave of blackberry jam, gaping tooth smile bearer, water wonders chalice of children. And I dedicate that to the children in my family.
That's enough, love.
Yeah, I think that's it. So that's only a couple of pages of what I've salvaged from, unfortunately, all my life's work. I have one shopping bag left. And that's only a tiny little hand shopping bag from between 45 to 47, 48, around that, just before the mark of 50 refuse, full sacks of poetry that I never read, and this was an opportunity for me just to read random ravings, and that was from a 2004 diary that I've marked as Luna, but there's other Lunas I've here from 2003 also, and other pages and bits of beer mats, bits of tissue, and bits of anything I could salvage my hands on when I was compulsively writing. In other words, I would have something in my head quite fluid, but what came out in my hand at the other side was often quite different. It was a conscious flow. I know that was a thing you had wrote for me on an old docket, but that remains private. That's not for public viewing. That's sacred, and that goes back in there. And that's your heart explored on a page. So it is what it is. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to some of my ravens, just very small amount, which I hope to explore with you and with anyone on YouTube. And I just would like to take sincere thanks to Limerick City Council Arts Office, to my husband, to our families, to our friends and the wider community of Limerick, for taking the time to pop by and see us. When these were written in 2004, I was cross-channeling over the Limerick Ennis Shannon Road or whatever, the Limerick Clare Road from Limerick to Ennis, between Ennis and Limerick, so it's a reflection, a mental landscape of those two environs. So without further ado, thank you, and thanks for being there for us. Okay. Ihawa, call us off. Slán, say slán, B.
Slán.
Slán, God bless. Bye bye.